sending out the 12.
And this is Luke 9.
Luke 9. Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all demons and to cure diseases. Can we
Power.
tell them how to do it, right? And then we talk about power that had left them
Power.
previously.
Yes.
So
And he gives us that power, like you said.
we already have it.
We already have it, exactly. He's given it to us already, yes.
Jesus just illuminates the fact that you do therefore have it.
Yes.
He sent them to
Well, the power is from him, right?
well from God.
Yes, yes. And go ahead. How about I let you read? I'm sorry.
So he sent them to preach, mother, all throughout the kingdom, and to heal the sick. And he said to them, take nothing for the journey, neither staff nor bag, nor bread nor money, and do not have 2 tunics apiece. Just the shirt on your back.
Exactly.
Whatever house you enter, stay there, and from there depart. And whoever will not receive you, when you go out of that city, shake off the very dust from your feet as a testimony against them.
Wow. That's intense, isn't it?
So keep it packing.
I know. But I do like the take nothing. So, because then they're relying totally on God to supply all their needs, right?
Right. To fight, because at the end of the day, it's like the human interaction.
Mm.
That's what. And if they had anything, right, you don't need to interact with anybody.
Oh, they're kind of on.
Right.
And then, of course, they have to preach, right? He said they have to
Right.
preach the kingdom of God and heal the sick.
Yeah. So they
That's
departed and went through the towns, preaching the gospel and healing everywhere.
perfect because that's what they were told to do in verse 2, right?
They listened.
Yeah, preaching, yeah. Woohoo! Even Peter, probably.
Woo! Especially Peter.
Especially Peter. Oh, no, our buddy's here. Our other buddy in 7.
Herod seeks to see Jesus.
Ah, okay, a new chapter. Okay, so that was the disciples, a new title in it.
Now Herod the Tetrarch, John the Baptist's best friend,
No.
heard of all that she was done by Jesus, and he was perplexed, because it was said by some that John had risen from the dead.
Mm. So he knew that he had killed John, right? And now he has these people that are because the people are like, oh, John is risen, and they think that's Jesus, right? The
Right.
rumor must have went out, right?
Hmm. He was perplexed. It
It's
confused
perplexed.
him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. But they're talking about Jesus. Who's this guy?
I know.
And by some, that Elijah had appeared,
Okay,
and
yeah.
and by others, that one of the old prophets had risen again. Herod said, John I have beheaded, but who is this whom I hear such things? So he sought to see him. Is this the same Herod that was seeking him as a child?
No, I don't know because remember in the Luke when they remember the angel warned Joseph to go to Egypt, and then he went to Egypt, and then when that herd died, he said it's safe to come back.
And then somebody else took over. Joseph got self-conscious. They still didn't go back. They had to wait till somebody else took charge.
Right. Well, they
Was that
didn't go
not
back.
his
Oh,
son?
they did go back, but they went not where they initially intended. I think they were going to go back.
But did this Herod have a relationship to the old one?
I would have to think that he probably did, but
Maybe.
I know what you're saying. I,
But I mean, if I were Jesus, this is probably the last person I would want asking where I was.
of course, this right. This is right. This because he doesn't right. There doesn't seem to be that same fear as the other herd had that he's going to kill all the little boys in Bethlehem. But
I
this
don't
is
know.
31 years later. that's a lot of years later, so it's obviously, you
He
know,
would have maybe heard about it growing up as a kid, because I'm sure. But then after this, right? At least from so John's dead. That sucks.
yeah.
And then afterwards, I think things get well, this is the first time afterwards, right? We'll get into it. But he predicts his own death.
Oh, maybe.
So once John is dead and beheaded, right?
That's probably
It's not a good sign.
like things are coming. Things are,
Right. It is a good sign, I guess.
yeah,
But
you're right. You're right. I got you.
it's a sign.
It's a sign, yes. I mean, he knew it was coming. You're right. Wow.
So we'll find a little piece before we only got a couple pieces of fish left. So
Okay, so we need to store up our energy.
right.